So this morning I'm going to show you how to make the shortbread. It's a very simple biscuit. To get right, it is very important that you follow the correct steps. So the first thing we're going to do is to use 100 grams of softened butter. Now you need the butter soft so that you can cream it and get it light and fluffy. If it was hard, it would take you a long time and it would be very difficult. So this is quite soft, room temperature is fine. And you then put in your caster sugar. And the caster sugar is then beaten. You can use a wooden spoon, but this is so much quicker. And I'm afraid it's quite noisy once it gets started. So it's very difficult to talk over the top of this, and you will cream this, the butter and the sugar, until it looks a little bit like soft vanilla ice cream. So it's really important that you do get it light and soft and fluffy. And again, it's so difficult to talk over the top of this. On cookery programs on the television, the chefs always manage to do it really well, talking over the machines, and I don't know how they do it. Now that's creamed together, but it needs to be a lot lighter in colour to incorporate as much air into the mixture as possible. We need to keep going. Do many of you cook at home? Do you cook? Yes? And you like to bake?
You cook at home?
Do you like to make cakes? Yeah, you like to make cakes or you like to eat them?
No, this one doesn't make cake. He's going to tell you what he makes.
Oh, what do you cook?
What do you cook?
Spaghetti bolo.
Spaghetti bolo. Right. Okay. It's a good basic dish to have in your repertoire. I think this is soft enough. Not quite as light as I would like, but time is important. Just need to get all the mixture off the beaters. It's always more difficult to do small jobs like this when you're being watched and you're short of time. Okay. So now we've got the mixture nice and soft, and into it I'm going to sieve the flour, which is, in English we say self-raising flour, plain flour rather. I'm thinking of the cakes. So it's plain flour, and this is semolina. It's a coarse, it's still wheat. It's the same product as the flour, but it's not ground down as fine. And this adds a little bit of crunch to your shortbread, and it adds the nice
Semoule, c'est de la semoule fine.
nice texture to
Semolina.
to the product. Shortbread is one of my favourite biscuits, and I like it because it is crunchy. I like lots of crunchy foods. I like raw vegetables as well. Just like the crunch, and this has got a nice crunch, but it's also sweet, which is very good. You then mix in, using a knife, the flour and the semolina. You don't need to add any liquid because the fat, the butter, is moist enough to absorb all the the flour and the semolina. Once you've got it into soft dough, you can then, this is the part that the boys often like, getting their hands dirty. I prefer not to because I don't really like this. You get your hands into the bowl and you wipe round, collecting all the mixture, all the flour, and you will end up with a nice ball of soft dough in which to make making your shortbread. Today I'm not going to be showing you how to make the shortbread fingers. I'm going to be doing what's a traditional petticoat shortbread. It's round, done in a tin or a mould, and it's then decorated. In Scotland, traditionally, they wouldn't use a metal tin, they would use a wooden mould. They would put the dough into it, roll it, and then get a tray and invert over, and you would end up with a really pretty pattern. They were very intricately carved were some of these wooden moulds. To buy them today are quite expensive, so that's why I don't have one. A little bit of flour on your board, on your work surface, and you have to be gentle with the dough. You don't need to be very strong. If you need the shortbread dough a lot, you will toughen the protein part of the flour, the gluten, which is really good if you're making bread because you want your bread to be stretchy and strong, but you don't want your shortbread to be stretchy and strong. So treat it gently, and you flour your rolling pin gently, and I keep turning the mixture so that it doesn't stick to the board. And again, flour, but you don't need too much flour. Try and keep it as round as possible, then it makes it easier for doing into your tin. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just a little bit bigger. To make it easier to get into the tin, if you slide underneath, pop it in the tin, and then I'm now going to make it fit in the tin. So you just squash, a bit of flour in my hand, squash it in, and you can use the back of a spoon to squash it down. Just to get it to that nice round shape. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to create the petticoat and create an indentation all the way around, and it creates that scalloped effect that we're wanting. And you have to do them quite deep because as it cooks, it will cook out some of the shape. You continue around. Now I've done that, I'm just going to mark a little bit, make this a bit neater. Just a little bit neater there. I'm going to mark around with the knife just to give me a guideline where I'm going to use the fork to decorate the top. That's it. And then the fork we just over the top, and it's for two reasons. One, it decorates, makes it look attractive when it's cooked, and two, it stops the centre from rising up and getting holes and things in which you don't want. After that, just using the back of the knife, we don't need the blade, we just need the edge, it's okay, the edge, and then I'm going to mark this into 8 equal pieces. You don't need to cut all the way through. What you need to do is a good mark so that when the shortbread is cooked, you can take it off the tray, cool it, and then you can just snap the pieces that you want. and it's put through easily. So that's now ready for cooking. Just wipe these. And what you end up with after you've baked it for about 15, if you're doing this one, it needs about 25 minutes to half an hour. If you're doing shortbread fingers, it only needs 15 minutes. And then when it's cooked, you have your shortbread and you sprinkle it with sugar. And what I've done there is to cut it so you can see, you've got some of the indentations, but obviously yesterday I didn't press down far enough and it isn't quite as deep as I would like. So, for Christmas, what you can do is you cook your shortbread, don't put the sugar on, and then you can put icing, either thin icing that you mix up, just icing, sugar and water.
Icing, c'est le glaçage. Icing, glaçage.
Or you can buy at just move that at Lycée or Kath, you can buy icing that you can roll out, and you can buy it in different colours to go on the top of your biscuits. You can buy it in white, blue, pink. These just happen to be Christmas colours that I've got. And then instead of doing that shape or this, you can have cookie cutters. So you've got the belle, the cloche, snowmen, Christmas trees, stars, all things that are representative of Christmas. Holly, I don't know if you know holly.
Yes, excellent.
And reindeer. So you've got all of those things. I haven't brought a Santa Claus, oh dear. And also,
We have the snowman. We'll
I've
do
got
it.
snow, yes. You can then, if you wish to make it very festive, we have got sprinkles in the form of Christmas trees and bells and stars, or you could just put the very brightly coloured sugar, chocolate beans, Smarties, again another Christmassy one. Lots of different chocolate, so you've got little chocolate balls, chocolate drops, vermicelli, and more stars. So there are lots of things that you can do to decorate the top of the shortbread. Personally, I prefer it like that. It's the traditional, but for children for Christmas, it's a great way of getting them to join in and do things, and they take great pleasure in doing their own decorated Christmas biscuits. I don't think there's anything else.